So what's the most important thing that you've ever learned about goals?
To set them. That's really important to set goals. Fair enough. I used to never, I know you're a very huge goal setter, but I used to never set goals. Or I would set them, but then I'd be like, like a weekend, I'm like, whatever. It's like too hard. It's too hard. Yeah, New Year's resolutions. It's like, it's too hard to do that. Because inevitably, as soon as you set a goal, there's going to be obstacles along the path. It's never going to be.
That's why it's a goal.
I tell my clients this all the time. It's like, you're starting here and you want to go here and you think it's going to be a straight line. My hand is getting eaten. My starting point is getting eaten. But nothing in life is ever straight. In the natural world, there's nothing that's really straight. It's never a direct path to where you're going. Yeah. There's going to be bumps along the ways. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be side tracks. And at times your goal may even change completely, like
because you evolve.
Yeah, because you get
closer
evolved.
And then it evolves.
But it's important to really, if you do change your goal, obviously to not just be like, give up on your goal. Like really make sure that you are intentional in changing your goal. And then when you do change your goal, just don't look back to the old one. You can't look back. You can't be like, did I make the right move? Like you have to always be moving forward. And then the other thing I've always kept in mind too is when you're setting a goal and your starting place, finishing place, and you're on the way, is that you just need to take baby steps every single day. Right. It doesn't just go in one day. It's a matter of really taking just baby steps every single day and showing God, the universe, whatever you believe in, that you're moving towards the goal and this is what you want. And always keep in mind, visualize what it's going to be like when you get there. It's really important to visualize that and keep that in your mind when those days get tough, when it's, you're feeling dark and you're feeling hopeless, like you're not going to accomplish this goal. Imagine what it's really going to feel like when you get there and keep taking those baby steps, even if it's just to write one email or to read one page of that book, whatever it is, just one thing every day. Because there's going to be days when you can only read one page or write one email, and then there's going to be days when you are feeling so inspired and you're going to sit down and you're going to write like a million things. But no matter what, just always do something each day and give yourself the space that, sometimes you're going to be off and sometimes you're going to be on. But try to have more on than off. Just keep working towards the goal.
Yeah, just what came to mind was I had the opportunity to spend about a half day with Grant Cardone and hang out and just be around his brilliance. And he talked about the 10X rule. And the 10X rule is basically set a goal, then you add a 0 on it. You multiply it by 10, and that becomes your goal. And now that's definitely not for the weak-hearted or the timid, but it certainly gets you thinking, though, because if you set, A as your goal, and then all of a sudden it's J, you're like, whoa, that's way. But then if you set that as your goal and you head towards that intention, then you start doing things in alignment with achieving J instead of A. A becomes like an accidental trip up, and you get your goal done. So that was kind of a thing. And then you talked about like obstacles, like the obstacle is the way. How as we evolve and go towards our goals. See, here's a great example. So when I was living out of my car, it was so important to have goals. It was so important to be in such a dark place to have a vision. They say a man without vision, they perish, right? You need to have a purpose, a vision, a mission to keep you going. Otherwise, the light inside dies. We're all about shine. Obviously, we're wearing a lot of shiny stuff to keep that going. But I think what it looks like is when I was, reclined, back looking at the cloth ceiling of the 1994 Toyota Camry, I had to have something that kept the light on, something that was fueling the candle to not let the candle burn out, because, there are many things in there that in that environment that caused me to have a lot of suffering and a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of pain, a lot of giving up and losing hope. And there's many other videos we've made that talk about that story more in detail about, lifestyle and dreams and all the rest of it. But when it comes to setting goals, what I learned this one thing, and that is, and many of you read like Think and Grow Rich and various books, but one of the greatest things that I did was modeling very successful people that I was sort of idolizing and just wanted to be. And it didn't have to be that they were more successful than me. They just had to be someone I related to or just resonated with. Like I like to watch people on YouTube that I resonate with, that inspire me, right? And so for me, it was like a lot of them were just saying they looked at their goals every single day, and it's like you said, just make daily progress. So for me, when I was living in the car, I didn't have a vision board because that would take up half the car. So I didn't have much real estate to put pictures on. So I had to have a 1-picture vision board. And back then, I was just like, man, I'd love to have about a 35-foot boat one day and live on the boat, just to see what that experience would be like, live on the water. And ironically, I was afraid of the ocean. So people were like, how are you going to live on the boat if you're afraid of the ocean? I was like, well, we'll get when you get there, your goals will change and whatever, you'll recalibrate. But anyway, so that was a big motivating piece. So I printed out a picture. I still have it of this boat picture that I just stuck it right on the visor above my head. So I was able to wake up in the morning and the first thing I'd see is the visor above me and I'd see the boat. And I go, okay, that's why I'm waking up today. This is what's driving me forward. And then everything I did that day was, to create that reality. And then when I went to bed at night, that was the last thing I saw before I went into dreamland. And I was like, okay, right, that's what I did today was in alignment with my goals. And that's what it always goes back to, is to do things that are in alignment with what you want. And so that's what I would go to bed to, is like, okay, the boat, that's my vision, one day, and that kept me in a good state, because what do they say? It doesn't take a genius to stay in anxiety, to lose hope. It doesn't take any work or any, it doesn't take any brilliance to lose faith. That's easy to do. It's easy to stay in angst and anxiety or whatever the case may be, but it takes real skill when living in a car or whatever you're dealing with right now and going through. Anybody could just give up, and that doesn't take any skill. But what it does, what we do get to choose is our character, right? The wind. What does Jim Rohn say? The same winds blow on us all, right? It's what we do with that wind. If you've got a sailboat, you can actually capture the wind and turn things around, and you can go in different directions. But other people just get blown down the river. See, so I think that's what I wanted to share, is that look at your goals every day, use that as a fuel, and if you're struggling right now, that's called normal. Be thankful for that. Adversity is a great.
What were you going to say about adversity?
I was going to adversity is just a great. We need adversity to help
us grow.
Yeah,
it's important to have adversity. Yeah, there's impossible to get through life without adversity, and it helps us grow. The most difficult times of my life, I'm very, very grateful for, because I really learned my power and my strength, and on the other side of it was awesome. So, and
you get a good story.
Yeah, and you get a good story.
You can always get a good story afterwards. Like, man, this crazy thing happened to me 10 years ago.
Listen to this. Yeah. But I did want to mention that I thought that was a point that I missed as well. That's very important, which is to attach a purpose to your goal. It can't just be like, I want, whatever it is. I want to get my divorce finalized. I want to get my I want to get $1 million, whatever it is that your goal is. Like, it can't just be like some random thing. It's important to assign a purpose to it, so you can be like, okay, like, I want to get divorced so that my children, a why. Right. That's it. A why of like why you're doing this. Like, why is this goal important, so that you can keep coming back to that. It's like, for me, it's oftentimes my goals are associated to helping my son. So it's like, what I want to accomplish this goal to give a better life to my son. Like, I want to get this business going, not only to help people and change the world, but also to show my son that, like, we can create something out of nothing. We are strong, we are brilliant, women can do things, like all of this stuff that I want to show my son and have him be inspired, so that when he grows up, that he can feel inspired and know that he can do anything as well. And that whoever he marries, his wife, that, he supports her and knows that she can do anything that she wants to do too. So a lot of my goals are very purpose driven for my son, which is a really great thing.
Wonderful. Catch you in the next one.